Have you ever wondered if the foods you've trusted for decades might actually be undermining your health after 60? What if I told you that 5 popular healthy foods could be silently working against you as you age? This isn't about promoting extreme diets or creating unnecessary fear. This is about understanding how your nutritional needs change dramatically after 60, and why certain foods that once served you well might now require reconsideration. Today, we're exploring 5 commonly consumed health foods that researchers suggest older adults should approach with caution. Some might surprise you because they've been marketed as wellness staples for years. Stay with me until the end because I'll share what you should be eating instead to truly thrive in your golden years. Before we dive in, if you're new to our channel, welcome. We're building a community focused on evidence-based health information. Hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss future content. Drop your country in the comments below. We love seeing our global community come together. Now, let's uncover these 5 foods you need to reconsider after 60. All right, let's jump straight into the list. Here are the 5 so-called healthy foods you should stop eating after 60, starting with number 1, excessive fruit juice. Let's begin with something you might reach for every morning. 100% fruit juice. For years, we've been told that fruit juice provides essential vitamins and minerals. However, recent research, specifically examining older adults, reveals concerning findings about excessive juice consumption. A comprehensive study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association examined over 18,000 adults and found that high fruit juice intake, particularly in women with cardiovascular disease, was associated with increased mortality risk. The research demonstrated that even when combined with adequate whole fruit intake, high juice consumption maintained an 18% elevated death risk, while inadequate fruit intake with high juice consumption showed a 43% increase in all-cause deaths among women with heart disease. The primary concern isn't the vitamins in juice, but what happens when you remove fiber and concentrate natural sugars. An 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains approximately 21 grams of sugar, nearly matching soda's sugar content, but without fiber that normally slows absorption. Research in the European Nutrition analyzing multiple studies found that moderate consumption of 75 to 224 milliliters daily didn't increase obesity or diabetes risk in most adults. However, the key word is moderate. A Sorbonne Paris Site University study involving over 101,000 adults found that sugary drink consumption, including 100% fruit juice, was significantly associated with overall cancer risk over 5 years. For adults over 60, metabolic function naturally declines. Your pancreas doesn't respond to insulin demands as effectively, and your body processes sugar loads less efficiently. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition published research showing that for every additional serving of fruit juice consumed daily, there was a 7% increased risk of type 2 diabetes, with this risk particularly pronounced in older populations. The rapid blood sugar spike after drinking juice contributes to inflammation throughout your body, linked to accelerated aging, cognitive decline, and increased cardiovascular risk. The solution isn't eliminating fruit from your diet. Whole fruits contain fiber that slows sugar absorption, feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and promotes satiety. When you're over 60, choose whole fruit instead of juice. If you enjoy juice occasionally, limit it to 4 ounces and pair it with protein or healthy fat to slow absorption. Your blood sugar and long-term health will benefit from this simple adjustment.
Next, food number 2, low-fat dairy products. This might genuinely surprise you because for decades we've been conditioned to believe that low-fat dairy is the healthier choice for heart health. However, emerging research is challenging this long-standing nutritional dogma, especially for those over 60. A comprehensive scientific review published in Advances in Nutrition by nutrition experts from multiple institutions examined current evidence on full-fat versus low-fat dairy consumption. The researchers concluded that despite decades of recommendations favoring low-fat dairy, The current state of evidence lacks compelling support for consuming only low-fat dairy products. In fact, their analysis showed that full-fat dairy consumption demonstrated neutral or even inverse associations with adverse cardiometabolic outcomes, including cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, following over 3,000 adults, found that people consuming full-fat dairy had significantly better cardiovascular health markers compared to those consuming low-fat versions. A Massachusetts General Hospital study found that when full-fat dairy was incorporated into the DASH diet, developed specifically to lower hypertension, participants achieved comparable blood pressure improvements to those eating low-fat dairy, but with better blood lipid levels, a key risk factor for heart disease. When manufacturers remove fat from dairy products to maintain palatability and texture, they often add sugars, thickeners, and other additives. This processing fundamentally changes how these foods affect metabolism. Research in the European Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that dairy fat helps regulate appetite hormones, particularly leptin and ghrelin, which control hunger and satiety. For adults over 60 facing metabolic changes and declining muscle mass, the satiating effect of full-fat dairy can actually prevent overeating and support better weight management than low-fat alternatives. Additionally, vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat-soluble, requiring dietary fat for proper absorption. Dairy products are excellent sources of several essential nutrients, and the Journal of Nutrition published research showing calcium absorption from dairy was significantly enhanced when consumed with adequate fat content. For older adults facing increased osteoporosis risk, optimizing calcium absorption becomes critical. Removing fat from dairy can reduce your body's ability to absorb these crucial nutrients your aging bones need. Research indicates fermented dairy products like yogurt, kefir, and cheese may offer additional benefits. A British Journal of Nutrition study found that men consuming fermented dairy had a smaller risk of coronary artery disease. The probiotics in fermented dairy support gut health, increasingly important as we age. When choosing dairy after 60, opt for full-fat versions of yogurt, milk, and natural cheeses without added sugars. Greek yogurt provides high-quality protein for maintaining muscle mass, while the fat content ensures you absorb calcium and vitamins effectively. This doesn't mean unlimited butter or ice cream, but rather choosing whole dairy products as part of a balanced diet.
Next, food number 3, highly processed protein bars. Walk into any store and you'll find dozens of protein bars marketed as convenient, healthy nutrition. While protein is essential for older adults to maintain muscle mass and strength, many commercial protein bars might be doing more harm than good based on recent research findings. A revealing analysis published in Scientific Reports examined the protein quality of 1,641 protein bars and discovered that although most contained sufficient protein quantities, many demonstrated low nutritional quality. Researchers found that bars containing added ingredients like collagen, fiber, and sweeteners often made it harder for the body to absorb and utilize the protein effectively, particularly concerning for older adults whose bodies already face challenges in protein absorption. Safe Food, a nutrition research organization, analyzed 83 high-protein snack foods and found that 77% of protein bars were high in saturated fat and 79% were significant salt sources. Their research revealed that the average protein bar was nutritionally comparable to a standard chocolate bar in calorie and fat content. Of 39 bars surveyed, 38% listed chocolate as their main ingredient, fundamentally questioning whether these qualify as health foods. Environmental Working Group research highlighted that most protein bars are ultra-processed foods containing added sugars, artificial sweeteners like sucralose and erythritol, and seed oils like canola or palm. These sweeteners have been linked to numerous health concerns. A Harvard study found that participants in the top fifth of artificial sweetener consumers had a 26% higher risk of developing depression than those in the bottom fifth. Research shows just a 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption could increase type 2 diabetes risk by 15% regardless of body weight. For older adults, digestive sensitivity increases with age. Many protein bars contain synthetic fibers like inulin and chicory root fiber that commonly cause significant digestive distress, including bloating, gas, and altered bowel movements. Food and chemical toxicology research demonstrated that emulsifiers and preservatives commonly used in commercial bars, such as carrageenan and polysorbate 80, can trigger low-grade inflammation in the intestinal lining, linked to accelerated aging and increased disease risk in older populations. Additionally, maltodextrin, a common ingredient, causes rapid blood sugar spikes and may alter gut microbiotic composition, reducing beneficial bacteria while promoting potentially harmful strains linked to intestinal inflammation. For older adults managing blood sugar and gut health, these effects become particularly problematic. Instead of processed bars, nutrition experts recommend whole food alternatives. A handful of nuts with fruit provides superior nutrition without processing or questionable additives. Greek yogurt with berries offers high-quality protein your body can actually use effectively. Hard-boiled eggs or cheese with vegetables provide complete proteins without inflammatory additives. These whole food options support muscle maintenance and overall health far more effectively than processed counterparts.
Next, food number 4, modern commercial whole wheat bread. This might be the most controversial food on our list because whole grains have been promoted as heart-healthy essentials. However, the reality for people over 60 is considerably more nuanced than simple dietary messaging suggests, and understanding the glycemic impact becomes crucial. Research published in the European Journal of Nutrition examined common breads and found that many commercial whole wheat breads produce blood sugar spikes comparable to white bread. The glycemic index of most whole wheat bread ranges from 69 to 71, classified as medium to high, meaning it raises blood sugar significantly. Only true whole grain breads with visible intact grains and seeds achieved low glycemic index ratings around 55, according to British Journal of Nutrition Research. A comprehensive study published in Nutrients, analyzing bread microstructure, found that standard whole wheat flour is created by pulverizing grains into fine powder after passing through roller mills. This processing destroys the natural structure that would normally slow digestion. Research demonstrated that the average glycemic index of bread made from whole wheat or white flour was essentially equal at 71, with no meaningful difference. The processing creates flour particles that are rapidly digested and absorbed, causing blood sugar spikes regardless of whether the label says whole wheat. For adults over 60 dealing with declining insulin sensitivity, consuming high glycemic breads multiple times daily significantly increases diabetes risk and promotes weight gain, particularly dangerous visceral fat around the abdomen. Diabetes care research demonstrated that repeated exposure to high glycemic foods accelerates dysfunction in pancreatic beta cells responsible for insulin production. This becomes especially problematic for older adults whose insulin response is already compromised by natural aging processes. Beyond blood sugar concerns, modern wheat contains proteins that can trigger inflammatory responses even in people without celiac disease. World Journal of Gastroenterology research identified that proteins in modern wheat can increase intestinal permeability, commonly called leaky gut, which becomes more prevalent with age. This condition contributes to systemic inflammation, joint pain, and potentially autoimmune conditions that disproportionately affect older adults. Interestingly, research published in Aging Clinical and Experimental Research found that true sourdough bread, especially when made with stone ground flour and fermented for at least 24 hours, shows significantly lower glycemic responses compared to standard breads. The fermentation process breaks down problematic compounds while creating beneficial organic acids that slow starch digestion. Studies demonstrated that sourdough fermentation of wholemeal wheat bread increases soluble fiber and decreases postprandial glucose and insulin responses.
If you're over 60 and want to continue enjoying bread, several better alternatives exist. Look for authentic sourdough made with long fermentation periods, breads containing visible intact grains and seeds, or consider alternatives made from ancient grains like spelt, einkorn, or rye. These options provide lower glycemic responses and better nutritional profiles. Alternatively, breads made from almond flour or other nut flours offer high protein and fiber with minimal blood sugar impact, making them excellent choices for older adults managing metabolic health.
Next, food number 5, excessive industrial seed oils. Our final food might be the most ubiquitous and challenging to avoid in modern diets: industrial seed and vegetable oils, including soybean, corn, canola, cottonseed, sunflower, and safflower oil. They're everywhere, from salad dressings to restaurant foods, and had been marketed as heart-healthy alternatives to saturated fats for decades. However, emerging research suggests the story is more complex, especially for aging bodies. Research published in Open Heart examined omega-6 fatty acid consumption from vegetable oils and its relationship to heart disease. The authors presented evidence that when consumed excessively, linoleic acid, the main omega-6 fatty acid in these oils, may promote oxidative stress and inflammation. Historical dietary trial data recovered from the Minnesota coronary experiment revealed that replacing saturated fat with omega-6 linoleic acid from corn oil significantly lowered cholesterol, but didn't reduce mortality and may have actually increased death risk in older adults. For each 30 milligram per deciliter of reduction in cholesterol, there was a 22% higher risk of death. A cohort study published in BMC Geriatrics followed 4,838 participants aged 65 and older, examining cooking oil choices and frailty risk. Research found that participants consuming animal fat oils had a significantly lower risk of frailty compared to those consuming vegetable oils. The study suggested that vegetable oils, particularly those rich in omega-6 fatty acids, have been linked to heightened inflammation and oxidative stress, potentially contributing to age-related conditions like frailty. However, it's important to note that research on vegetable oils presents conflicting evidence. Multiple studies, including a systematic review in prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and essential fatty acids, found that increased intake of linoleic acid or arachidonic acid from vegetable oils did not increase inflammatory marker concentrations in healthy adults. American Heart Association research analyzed multiple studies and concluded that higher blood levels of linoleic acid were actually associated with lower cardiovascular disease risk, suggesting moderate consumption as part of a balanced diet may be neutral or even beneficial. The key consideration for older adults appears to be avoiding excessive consumption and choosing stable cooking fats. When vegetable oils are heated to high temperatures or stored for extended periods, they oxidize and form harmful compounds. Journal of Lipid Research showed that oxidized linoleic acid metabolites can damage cellular membranes and promote oxidative stress, particularly problematic for older adults whose cells already face increased oxidative damage from aging. For cooking after 60, nutrition experts recommend choosing fats that don't oxidize easily when heated. Extra virgin olive oil for low heat cooking and salad dressings, avocado oil for medium heat cooking, and coconut oil or grass-fed butter for higher heat cooking are superior choices. These traditional fats have been consumed for thousands of years and don't undergo the extensive industrial processing of seed oils. The Mediterranean diet, consistently ranked as one of the healthiest dietary patterns and associated with longevity, emphasizes olive oil rather than processed seed oils. For older adults, focusing on traditional, minimally processed fats while avoiding excessive amounts of any single fat source represents the most prudent approach based on current evidence. We've just explored 5 seemingly healthy foods that warrant reconsideration after 60. Excessive fruit juice that spikes blood sugar without beneficial fiber, low-fat dairy that removes fats your body needs for nutrient absorption, highly processed protein bars loaded with sugars and inflammatory additives, modern commercial whole wheat bread that triggers blood sugar problems despite its healthy image, and excessive industrial seed oils that may promote inflammation when consumed in large amounts or heated repeatedly. Understanding these potential health concerns empowers you to make informed choices that support vibrant aging.
Remember, nutrition after 60 isn't about strict deprivation or eliminating entire food groups. It's about making strategic adjustments based on how your body's needs have changed. It's about choosing foods that work with your aging metabolism rather than against it. Small, evidence-based changes can create profound improvements in your energy levels, cognitive function, physical strength, and overall quality of life. If you found this information valuable and it's opened your eyes to new perspectives on your food choices, I'd genuinely love to hear from you. Type yes in the comments below. Your feedback truly motivates our team to continue researching and creating content that makes a real difference in your life. If this video helped you today, think about how it might benefit someone you care about who's also navigating health after 60. Don't forget to hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people discover this important evidence-based information. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos on nutrition, health optimization, and aging well with vitality. We have much more research-backed content coming your way, and I don't want you to miss a single video that could transform your health journey. Thank you so much for investing this time with me today. Here's to making informed choices, feeling energized and vibrant, and truly thriving at every stage of life. Until next time, take excellent care of yourself. And remember, it's never too late to make positive changes that genuinely matter for your health and longevity.